The story of King Abadil and his dark secret part 2. King Abadil's heart grew cold. He knew that if the truth spread, he would lose everything: his power, his throne, and the respect of his people. He realized that there was no escaping the consequences of his actions. Nana sensing the king's fear, continued, "You must step down and confess your crime before the elders and the gods. If you don't, the kingdom will fall into chaos. The people will demand justice, and the gods will curse our land." King Abadil lowered his head, his once proud shoulders now hunched under the weight of his guilt. He had made a terrible mistake, and there was no turning back. He sat in silence for a long time, thinking about his people, his kingdom, and the future of his bloodline. Finally, with a heavy sigh, the king spoke. "I will confess. I will not let the kingdom suffer for my sins. But Nana what will become of Akojua and the child?" Nana face softened. "Akojua is innocent. She will not bear the burden of your sins. The child will be raised in secret, away from the palace, where no one will know the truth. Akojua will live in peace, free from this shame. But you, Abadil, must answer for what you have done." The next day, King Abadil gathered the elders and chiefs of the kingdom in the grand palace. The air was thick with tension as the king stood before them, his face pale and his voice shaking. "My people," he began, "I have committed a great sin. I have broken the sacred laws of the gods and betrayed the trust of my family and my kingdom. I have wronged my granddaughter, Akojua, and I have shamed my bloodline." A shocked silence fell over the room. The elders exchanged worried glances, and murmurs of disbelief spread among them. No one had expected the proud King Abadil to confess to such a terrible crime. "I cannot undo what I have done," the king continued, "but I will step down from the throne. I will leave the kingdom and go into exile, where I will live out the rest of my days in solitude, praying for the gods' forgiveness. I do not deserve to be your king any longer." The elders nodded solemnly. It was the only way to save the kingdom from complete collapse. King Abadil would be stripped of his title and power, and the throne would pass to his eldest surviving son. After the meeting, Akojua, heartbroken but relieved, was sent to live in a distant village, far from the palace. The child she bore would be raised by a trusted family, away from the eyes of those who would question the child's true parentage. King Abadil left the kingdom, never to return. He wandered the lands as a broken man, searching for redemption, but finding only loneliness and regret. The people of Nwamba whispered of the king's dark secret for generations, but under the rule of his son, the kingdom began to heal. Akojua, though scarred by the events of her youth, grew stronger with time. She found peace in her new life and raised her child with love, ensuring that they would never know the darkness that had once clouded their family's legacy. In the end, the gods showed mercy to the kingdom, but the lesson of King Abadil's fall remained. A reminder to all that power, when misused, brings ruin not only to oneself, but to all those they rule. And so, the story of King Abadil and his dark secret was told from village to village, a tale of shame, guilt, and the high price of breaking the sacred bonds of family.